Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for our UCLA Global Internship Program info session dedicated to programs in Prague. My name is Ana Arellano, and I'm the coordinator for these programs here at the UCLA Study Abroad office. We have a very short presentation for you today. We'll briefly review about the program here in Prague, the eligibility process. We'll go over how you will be placed on the program, as well as the timeline to expect. We have our colleagues with us today from Prague themselves to speak more about interning and life in Prague. We'll review some funding options, as well as we do have some student returnees as well to speak about their experience this past summer in Prague. We'll conclude with the Q&A. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to enter them throughout the presentation in the Q&A, and we'll address this at the end of the presentation. So we'll get started just on a brief overview of the program itself in Prague. The internship itself will be for a duration of 8 weeks. This will occur from June 22nd through August 17, and these are the confirmed dates. This is an academic credit only internship, so it is not paid. For this reason, to receive the academic credit, you will be enrolling in an online course for 10 weeks. This will follow summer session A here at UCLA, and the dates are June 24th through August 30th. Once again, this is simply an online course that you will be concurrently taking while you are conducting your on-site internship in Prague. All students will be required to enroll in a 185 internship course, depending on the academic track that you enroll in. And I'll speak a little bit more about that briefly. You would be enrolling 185C, a 185CE. This course may or may not satisfy major or minor requirements, once again, depending on the academic track that you decide to enroll in. But each academic program page describes more briefly whether you can take it at the pass, no pass, or if it satisfies any requirements. Additionally, we do have the opportunity to enroll an additional 4 units. This is the CSC 130 Intercultural Communication in the Global Workplace course. This course is really meant to complement your internship. So develop communication skills to effectively communicate with your internship employer, your supervisor, your colleagues. You will be in a different environment. So just how to make the best out of your internship regarding like communication materials, communication style. Like I mentioned, this is an optional course. It's not required. However, if you do intend to enroll in or receive UCLA financial aid, you must enroll in both the 195 internship course and the CSC 130 course for a total of 8 units. Once again, it's an academic credit only internship. It is not paid, and you are expected to intern 32 hours per week. For our students who are interested in the economics track, you will expect weekly lectures from local industry professionals, and then we'll have the ECC Edu team speak a little bit more about this briefly throughout the presentation. So the program itself, we do have partnerships with UCLA academic departments, and this determines our academic tracks. So we have partnerships with the communications department, economics, global affairs, which is part of the international institutes. We have political science and public affairs. For students interested in economics and public affairs programs, those are strictly for majors and minors within that department only. Our communication, global affairs, and political science, though geared to those departments, they're open to all UCLA majors and minors. Within these academic tracks, we do have career sectors that includes advertising, marketing, PR, economics, government agencies, international business, law, and sustainability. I do want to make a quick note that not all these sectors are located within each academic track. So each academic track on the program page would explain what career sectors are available for that department. Eligibility criteria, there are some majors or minors that are restricted for a department, as I mentioned a bit earlier, and that includes some course prerequisites. I encourage you to view the respective program brochures, the program pages, to see what types of majors and minors restrictions there could be, as well as prerequisites. However, all students are required to have a 3.0 cumulative GPA, as well as 90 units by spring 2024. We do accept transfer and AP credit units, so as long as you have these 90 by the end of spring 2024, you are good to go. Finally, we do require good academic standing. What that means is typically having a 2.0 term GPA just throughout before you depart. We have a very brief video that explains more about the placement process, what happens after you submit your application, and when you can expect to be placed in an internship. So with that said, let me just make sure my audio is being shared, and then we're going to go ahead and place the video.
The UCLA Global Internship Program. Placement process and timeline. The Global Internship Program offers UCLA students the opportunity to gain a competitive edge in the job market with an 8-week international summer internship. Students receive direct UCLA credit and secure an internship based on their academic, professional, and personal goals. After an application is submitted, the student will interview with our program partners in the host country to assess their qualifications, experience, goals, and discuss possible internship placements. In January, after an extensive review, students are notified of their application status. If accepted, they must submit a non-refundable $300 deposit to secure their spot on the program. In February, students must pay the full program fee or submit a financial aid agreement form. This payment is used to finalize and secure all program logistics, such as housing. This is also the last chance to withdraw from the program without any additional financial penalty. Starting in April and moving into early June, the internship placement process will occur. Our program partners will arrange interviews with local organizations and companies based on each student's individual goals. Students will interview with one host company at a time. Ongoing interviews will continue with prospective internship site managers until there is a match between both the student and the host company. We guarantee all students an international internship placement. Visit ieo.ucla.edu/global internships to view our programs, dates and deadlines, funding resources, and more.
Perfect. So that explained it in a much quicker and a much simpler way than I would have. But just in quick summary, you would submit your application and then you would meet with our partners that are with us today to speak more about your internship goals, what experience you have, and what type of placement you hope to have. With that said, we do want to share some sample internship placements that our students have previously interned in before, or that the ECC Edu team, which is our team here in Prague, that they have had placements before with. This is not an exhaustive list of all internship placements that are available or possible, but it's just to give you a good sense of what is available. You get to explore more about the companies, more about the responsibilities that our previous students have had. It's just good news for reference. This is a PDF form, so if you want to download and keep it as a reference, definitely possible. Like I mentioned, just a good research to see what is available out there. Our applications are now open, and they're open until November 27th, so the deadline is right around the corner. If you are interested in applying, I would encourage you to submit your application sooner than later. This is not a first-come, first-served system. However, we do expect a large volume of applicants to apply the weekend of November 27. So if that's the case, if you are one of those applicants for November 27, what that means is that your advising call, which is the next step after you submit your application, it could be pushed into your finals, in your finals term. So we want to make sure you're able to focus on your finals, able to study, that does not have any conflicts. So because of that, we encourage you to submit your application just sooner than later. So with that said, like I mentioned, we do have our partners with us today from Prague. We have ECC Edu. So they'll speak a little bit more about what it's like to live as well as intern there. And I'll go ahead and pass along the voice to Jana.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anna, and hello. I apologize for joining a little bit late. I had a technical glitch. But I'll be happy to start. So on this slide, you can see the team. You will be talking to one of us. So myself or my colleague Binur and Monica. Thank you, girls, for being here with me today. And we can move on to the next slide. I hope you will hear me as we play this video because I'll be talking over it. I am calling from Prague, so I am a little biased, but you can see that Prague is located right in the middle of Europe in the Czech Republic. It's a city with a population of about 1.3 million people, so small, certainly walkable, very friendly, safe city. Once you're here, I hope at the end of your stay here, you will say that it is the most beautiful place on the planet, because I certainly think so. And it's one of the reasons why I moved here. So historical, the downtown area is a UNESCO protected heritage site with incredible old as well as new architecture. We do have the biggest castle complex in the region. You can see all these narrow streets full of restaurants, cafes, bars, museums, galleries, theaters, cinemas, sporting activities and sporting locations. So really, whatever you might like, I'm sure you will find it here. The city is easy to navigate. We have an efficient, safe, and easy public transport system, which you would be using. The commute time is pretty much anywhere around 30 minutes up to an hour the most. As I said, it's a small city and it's a small country, so you can also venture out and explore the region of Central and Eastern Europe. by bus or a train or a short flight, you can pretty much visit any location in Europe. The places nearby would be Berlin, Krakow, Vienna, Budapest, Bratislava. Very easy to do during the weekends. Students have done it and they have all enjoyed it. So much to explore in the city, as you can see on the pictures. Fantastic food, the best beer in the world. I know, Anna, I shouldn't say it, but it's true, it's a fact. And really just a great place to be and to spend your summer. The Czech Republic is in the list of top 10 safest countries around the world. So there is really nothing to be worried about. Very liberal, very progressive, and of course with an amazing economy and business environment for you to explore and to learn from. I should probably mention some downsides. I can't think of any. The downtown is crowded and the downtown is expensive, so we'll make sure we'll show you locations where you can live like a local and have a lot of fun. Girls, Monica, you live here as well. Anything I forgot to mention?
No, nothing I can think of. I mean, you are very pro Prague, so you are selling it very nicely. But Jana didn't lie. I mean, the city is the way she described it. I would only add that it's nicely affordable compared to other European capitals. So things, not the necessities in a daily life, but also shopping, souvenir shopping, clothes shopping is still cheaper than in other European capitals, which also is another positive fact about the city. But otherwise, you said it all.
Perfect. And as you can imagine, this is not only my hometown, but also the ECC Edu headquarters. So our network of business partners here is large, and there will definitely be a beautiful variety offered to you to choose from. And Anna, if I have covered everything. Oh, and it's going to be great weather when you're here. Okay, so in addition to the work you will be doing at the internship companies, we will also organize some trips around Prague. So traditionally we have taken students to Kutná Hora and Český Krumlov, all organized by us. We are going to take you there and tell you what's worth exploring. And during the program, there will be a number of networking events and social gatherings, which will allow you to expand your professional network. We will also have other programs here in Prague during the time you're here, so you will be able to interact with them and make friends internationally.
Perfect. Thank you, Jana. So if you have any questions about Prague, what it's like to live there, feel free to enter them in the Q&A chat, and then we can go ahead and address them at the end of the presentation. But thank you, Jana. You sold me on Prague, so I'm going to go take a trip there as well. So just some program funding options for the Global Internship Program. So total estimated costs are available on the individual program pages. You will see that there is a cost difference between the 4-unit and the 8-unit program. I do want to mention that this estimated cost incurs all expenses students are expected to incur while they are abroad. That includes health insurance, meals, transportation for bus, trains, round-trip airfare. So we do want to make sure that students are getting a well-rounded budget. This can decrease or increase depending on your individual spending habits, but it could range anywhere from $10,400 to $11,500. Because of that, we do want to share that students can use their UCLA financial aid to cover up to the total cost of the program. That does include scholarship, grants, and loans. I'll briefly mention that aid during the summer, whether it's studying abroad or whether it's summer sessions, it does tend to be more loan heavy. There are grants that are available during the academic year that are typically not available during the summer, which will make aid during the summer more loan heavy. In order to receive this financial aid, you must complete the 24 to 2025 FAFSA or DREAM Act application, which is typically due in March. Finally, when you are submitting your Global Internship Program application, you will be asked if you intend to use financial aid. Please make sure you're indicating yes or no as appropriately. If you indicate yes, at a later time, this will prompt additional documents that would be required to receive that aid. If you indicate no, you will not receive further documents and we cannot change this response at a later time. So just make sure you're indicating yes or no. I do want to mention as well that determine how much you accept in that aid determines how much you pay out of pocket. So let's say, for example, the total cost of the program is $10,000, you receive $5,000 in grants and $5,000 in loans, and you decide not to accept those $5,000 in loans, then at that time you would be responsible for paying those remaining $5,000 out of pocket. As mentioned this earlier in the presentation, but if you intend to use financial aid, you must enroll in both courses, the internship and the CSC 130 for a total of 8 units to be eligible for financial aid. There are a lot of scholarships that are available out there and a lot that we would encourage you to apply to. Many times, if I could share this, scholarships are under applied to. I'm not saying that if you apply, that guarantees you a scholarship, but it does increase your likelihood of perhaps being a recipient. Our office itself offers the IEO Global Internship Scholarship, where students can earn up to $3,000. We have a CSC Internship Scholarship, where students can earn up to $5,000. There's a lot out there for identity, merit, or income-based scholarships. There are also external scholarships available on our website. If you are a Pell Grant recipient, I strongly encourage you to apply to Gilman, where students can earn up to $5,000. So a lot of great opportunities out there. Free money is great money, so I always encourage you to apply as many scholarships as you can if you are eligible. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with our office and we can go ahead and provide you that resources as well. So with that said, I do want to make some time for our student panel. We do have 2 amazing guests with us today. So with that said, I want to go ahead and just begin, and I'll start. I believe we only have 1, perhaps. Nathan, if you're here, please let me know. But with that, I'd like to introduce Samuel Sanchez, who interned this past summer in Prague. Samuel, thank you again for joining us today. So we can just begin just by explaining a little bit more about the company that you interned with, as well as the responsibilities that you had in Prague.
Yeah, my company was very interesting. EFK platform, you can see it at the bottom. I don't know if any of you guys are interested in it, but it's like a cryptocurrency company, kind of. It was a shock to me when I got there. Like it was definitely a bit interesting place, but basically they have a sister company that makes actual products and they kind of work in tandem with each other. And so what I do on the crypto side funds what they do on the material side, basically kind of like that. But when I was there, I was doing technically marketing, which included like making Excel sheets of different like statistics of their competitors, and then sometimes we would use that info to see how we could like get a step ahead, or sometimes we'd use to see if there were potential partnerships we could take advantage of, things of that nature. So it was a lot of Excel, a lot of researching, and a lot of like, understanding different data and things like that.
Good. You mentioned a very good point. So a lot of Excel, a lot of data. What type of skills, whether it be technical or soft skills, do you feel that you received from this internship?
I would definitely say it like increased my Excel knowledge. Like I wouldn't say that I'm like a complete pro at it, but I'm definitely better than I'm used to. That was basically what all of my projects would be. My supervisor would just give me a project, say, when do you think you'd get it done by? Let's say a week. Then I'd spend the next week filling in Excel worksheets. So yeah, that was probably the main thing that I personally got out of it.
Excel could be tricky, so I'm actually very glad that that's one of the technical skills. That's something we use day to day as well here, even an educational factor. Samuel, can you give us a day in the life as an intern? And perhaps I'll tell you another question, how you were able to manage your time, both with the courses, interning, and just enjoying your time in Prague?
Yeah, so for the first part, I guess a day in the life, like the work days were what they sound like. They were work days. I'd get up, go to work, get back, and basically with all the other interns, as soon as we got back, we'd take a nap. Like it's just what you do. Then afterwards, maybe go to the gym, kill some time, things like that. But on the free days, those ones are a lot more fun. Like you'd get out with your friends. Sometimes we like rented bikes. Sometimes we just go out to eat. Sometimes we go to different countries, things like that. Those days are obviously a lot more fun. And then how to handle around, I would say just keep getting out. Like they say that the cutoff for like very fluent English speakers is around 40-ish years of age. So like there's going to be some places where no one speaks English there. I specifically think at the grocery stores is a big problem. So I would just say get out as much as you can and just start figuring things out on your own because there's not always going to be someone there to explain something to you.
Mhm. I agree. I like to say, at least when I'm advising students, is that studying abroad is the most comfortable way to be uncomfortable possible. So uncomfortable, the most comfortable way possible. So I'm glad you're able to
Mhm.
explore that. Actually, grocery store is a perfect way to kind of just pick something you don't know and try something that you may like and wouldn't have done otherwise. So very good experience that I'm sure you had. Sammy, you
Mhm.
made a very brief touching point about commuting. Sometimes students are concerned about travel times, but can you say how you were able to navigate that? Just speaking a little bit more about commuting to your actual internship site and coming back and how that factored into your time management.
Yeah, my place is quite lenient. Um, my supervisor told me like about 9:30 is good every morning. And it wasn't too far away. You take the tram basically everywhere. It'll take it and you pay $12 at the beginning of the month and it'll last you 30 days. So I would just get on the tram about 9 and it'd get me there by 9:20, so it was very close. Even if it's far, you still take the tram. I mean, it takes you everywhere you want to go. Commuting within the city shouldn't really be a problem because they're always running. Every 5 minutes, there's a tram at every stop.
Nice, great. And you mentioned a very good point about the difference in perhaps culture as it is here in the US, about perhaps a little bit more leniency, a little bit more laid back. Something to point out, of course, to our older students that there is that cultural difference that we'll need some adjusting to. But very, very a good point. I got two more questions for you, Samuel. First, is there a project or a deliverable that you are the most proud of that you completed during your internship?
Um, huh. I guess one that like stands out a bit is they actually like gave me the opportunity to make a presentation about what they could do better. So it was like a little interesting because it wasn't something that was like find out what other companies are doing. It was like from an outside perspective, sort of look at us and see what we're not doing to our full capacity. And so that was a bit interesting. Like I kind of like doing that one. So I guess I'd
Yeah,
have to say that.
that makes sense because they're trying to improve in their perspective. So that's pretty good. You're helping them improve.
Exactly.
Okay, Samuel, just one last question, then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Is there any advice that you have for our students considering whether entering in Prague or just participating in the global internship program in general?
Yeah. Well, if you're interested, I would say I have yet to talk to someone who says that they wish they didn't go, right? Like there's obviously going to be a lot of positives and negatives whenever you're doing anything new, but no matter what people say, they always say, well, I'm glad I went. I think there's no reason you shouldn't go. There's a lot of financial aid available. Like earlier you said a lot of it was loan heavy. So like just personally from my experience, if that's like maybe turning you off, I didn't have any loans and my trip was about 80% paid for. So like if the money is an issue, like you can definitely find your way around that. It's not all completely loans, obviously. Um, I would say just if you're thinking about it, then that means you should probably do it because it'll definitely be worth it.
Thank you, Samuel. I would agree. And actually, if I could share with everybody here, Samuel is actually a recipient of our Global Internship Program scholarship. So if you have any questions, whether it be for Samuel or any other of our students who participated this past summer, we do have a Global Internship Program Student Ambassador page. You can connect directly with Samuel if you want to speak more about his experience or just about the scholarship tips. We also have other students who also participated in our Prague program or different academic tracks. So you can learn a little bit more about their experience, what they have to say, and connect with them directly, like I mentioned. Thank you, Samuel. Is there any last mention of advice or tip that you want to mention to students? No pressure, if not.
Oh, if you are thinking about it and you don't have a passport, I would say get on it now
Yes.
because I wasn't sure and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get in. So I didn't go to the passport, but then they want the passport really quickly after you're admitted. So then I had to pay a huge rush fee. So if you're even thinking about it, just get your passport now and then you won't have to worry
Yes.
about that.
Thank you, Sarah. Actually, a very good point. Yes, if you don't have a passport, you need to renew, you need to apply. the sooner the better. There are some backlogs times that haven't been recovered since COVID began. So we don't know what that time frame will look like. So very good advice, actually. Yes, please look into your passport as soon as possible. With that said, I do want to go ahead and give it up for any kind of questions that you may have. We do need to end relatively soon, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to enter those into the chat, and we're going to go ahead and address them now. They could be for either myself, the ECC Edu team, or for Samuel.